Let's start with the Sussex's feud with the Beckhams. According to Lady C, and I know she has a lot of fans amongst royal watchers, it was David and Victoria Beckham who cut ties with the Sussexes, not the other way around.
Prince Harry is said to be really angry behind the scenes after the Invictus Games. His most important project and last bit of global respect has reportedly decided to replace him as the main face of the 2026 event with none other than David Beckham. Yes, that David Beckham, the world-famous sports star, kind-hearted helper, and quiet supporter of the royals. For Harry, this move is more than just an insult. It's the biggest loss of status he could face. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. Did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video.
The Beckhams basically said, you know, well, why waste our time with these people? They just are incapable of getting along with anybody. Are they incapable of not playing the victim?
After years of seeing his power get weaker, his friendships break, and his media deals fall apart, losing Invictus is like watching the last big part of his carefully made image fall to pieces. And this time, there's no one else he can blame but himself. Let's be honest, David Beckham is known all over the world, a former football superstar.
I'm so glad that Lady C made this point, Rita. And also, I don't know if you've heard Tom Bauer discuss how David Beckham showed up to support Prince Harry at Invictus. And he was overheard saying, when do I get to see Harry? Can I see Harry?
Respected helper of people, style star, loving dad, and now the new face of Invictus. While Harry holds on to old news stories, Beckham keeps getting new praise every time he shows up in public. His fame goes beyond politics, social class, and drama. People of all ages like him, trust him, and look up to him. And for the people running the Invictus Games, that's more important now than ever. When Invictus had to pick between a prince losing his shine,
Conversation, and she stops because she's startled that somebody has grabbed her and is relocating her, and it's Meghan just taking it upon herself to adjust this woman for a photo. I have to tell you that so far is my favorite video from Invictus.
It is incredible. She made a little speech, of course, which we're hoping to...
And someone the whole world loves. The choice was easy. Beckham brings peace. Harry brings problems. Beckham makes the Invictus name stronger. Harry pulls it into fights. The difference is deep and really embarrassing. Behind closed doors, people at the Invictus Games Foundation are said to be tired of the never-ending news stories Harry creates. What used to be a powerful event for honoring veterans has slowly been taken over by all the drama around the Sussex couple.
There were reports that Meghan Markle put the kibosh on David getting any photos with Prince Harry at Invictus because she felt like David and Victoria would outshine her in some way, so she wanted to make sure that they weren't photographed together and didn't allow Harry.
Meghan Markle was never seen with Jeffrey Epstein in person. But this is where things start to look too strange to ignore. The same people who once visited Epstein's private island were also seen on the same yachts, in the same photos, and in the same elite circles that Meghan was part of before she became a royal. People like Ghislaine Maxwell, who moved in the same rich and powerful groups, were often seen at the same events Meghan went to. And even though Meghan's supporters...
So embedded with this amazing Invictus Games thing that he had invented, that, he loved it more than anything else. And that she said, the great thing is that we're all part of one big family. You're my family and you're his family. And all I could think of was, well, she's obviously trying to say that he doesn't have a family because they're all horrible racists. They all live in England.
Some may say this is just a coincidence, but the pattern shows something else, a risky closeness. The overlap isn't random. These weren't huge charity events with thousands of people. These were small, powerful social circles. Meghan didn't just end up in those rooms by accident. She worked her way into them, and now she's trying hard to act like they never happened. A former Hollywood friend, someone who once shared apartments, auditions, and big dreams with Meghan in her early days, has now spoken out clearly and strongly. According to her,
you talk to no one from your family, so I better just bask in the glow of your temporary, kindness.
There is that problem. My other favourite story of the weekend was the Spotify one, where it turns out that the people who worked at Spotify had more nicknames for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex than anybody ever knew, including Ginge and Whinge.
Meghan's rise wasn't because of luck or talent. It was planned. She was always thinking ahead. The person said in a recent interview, if someone had a connection, a yacht, or power in the business, Meghan would find a way to be around. The friend even said that Meghan would try to get invited to private parties on purpose. She'd offer to help plan events or volunteer just to get close to the right people. She wasn't there to make friends. She was there to move up. And where did that climb begin? On boats and beaches that now look strangely connected to some of the darkest people in.
And they called her Eva, named after, I think, one of the, was it Joan Crawford from the 1990 camp classic Queen Bee?
Yeah, I mean, those are actually pretty tame compared to what I hear on the streets of Los Angeles. So I think that they should encourage those versus what people say about
Modern scandal. When Meghan started changing her image as a royal, she erased almost everything about her past from the internet. Her Instagram accounts disappeared. Her blogs were deleted. Photos that once showed off fancy beach trips and weekends on yachts suddenly vanished. But the internet remembers. Researchers and digital experts found old location tags and data from her past posts. Photos from places that now seem too important to ignore. Monte Carlo, Cannes, and the Amalfi Coast. Shared during the exact years the Epstein group was most active in Europe. So the big question is, why did those photos disappear?
or of the fire damage and devastation. So,
And the
yeah,
Billie
I mean,
Eilish business, right?
oh my gosh. Like, whenever I do a good deed, I like to name drop 30,000 people that don't even like the post or acknowledge that
Right.
I'm giving them a shout out.
Absolutely right. And also,
Just after she got engaged to Prince Harry. Why hasn't she ever talked about those trips in public? If there's nothing to hide, then why hide everything? People close to the royal family have shared that when Meghan's background was checked in private before the engagement, the palace did find out about her past connections and social life. But saying no to another one of Harry's girlfriends was considered too dangerous. We saw red flags, said one royal assistant, but the order was clear, don't cause problems. So a choice was made.
because he's got enough problems with his wife, which was classic Trump. He apparently decided in his speech to say that basically he didn't think there was much moral leadership in the world, which everybody thought was a bit of a swipe at Trump. But a pretty rich of old Prince Harry, a man that used to parade around.
Not to protect the crown's name, but to protect Harry's feelings. Now, the royal family is stuck in Meghan's falling apart story, a scandal they knew about but chose to ignore. And as more of this comes out, their silence may start to look like betrayal, not just to the royals, but to the public. What's clear now is that Meghan's public image as someone who helps others, stands up for women, and acts like a victim is just one piece of a much more planned picture. The truth, hidden for a long time under stories of yachts and private parties, is starting to rise. And Meghan, for the first time in years, is losing control of her story. As things get worse, Meghan Markle's carefully built image keeps breaking, down under the pressure of one of the biggest reveals yet. Her clear closeness to people linked to Epstein, her strong efforts to hide her past, and now her desperate try to change what people are talking about. But it's not working. The damage is done, and things are falling apart fast. In the last few weeks, Meghan has been showing up in the news everywhere, but not in the way you might think. Suddenly, she's all over the place, doing feel-good interviews from home, sharing cute stories about being a mom, baking with kids, and starting soft charity projects about health and feelings. But this isn't by chance. It's all planned. PR experts say Meghan's team is in crisis mode. One Hollywood publicist who knows how to fix celebrity scandals said, "This is a common trick. When a scandal breaks out, they try to cover it up with a lot of happy news. But this time, it's too late. People aren't falling for it anymore. They want real answers to real questions." No amount of plant-based meals or happy quotes can hide how serious her past connections were, or how she now acts like those people never existed. Let's be clear. This isn't about punishing someone for old mistakes. It's about lies. It's about hiding the truth. It's about trying to erase big parts of one's past just to sell a fake story. People who talk about the royals are starting to turn against Meghan, not because she went to boat parties, but because she lied about them, because she shut people up, because she used her past to trick people. She didn't just hide her past, one person said. She changed it completely, then attacked anyone who questioned the new version. That's not being strong, that's lying on purpose. And now people are finally seeing it clearly. It's been a big lie hidden right in front of us. Meghan used to be seen as a modern role model for women, but now people are saying she's a hypocrite. How can someone claim to fight for women's rights while building their career through powerful men? Men who are part of unfair and toxic systems. People now believe Meghan's feminism was never about breaking down bad systems, but about using those systems to get ahead, then acting like she didn't. Her silence about the people linked to Epstein, who she once spent time with, is very different from how loudly she judges others. When you use a corrupt system to rise up, then call yourself its victim later. One writer said, "You're not brave, you're fake." Right now, there's no legal case against Meghan. She hasn't been charged, sued, or called to court. But in the eyes of the public, the judgment is changing. Being close to people like Epstein isn't a crime. But hiding it, lying about it, and acting like it never happened is a serious moral problem. When you become super famous by saying you're honest, real, and here to help women, then your past matters. Not because of what you did, but because of what you said you didn't do. People aren't mad at Meghan's past. They're mad she used it to lie to them. Maybe the biggest sign yet is how her powerful friends are going quiet. Behind the scenes, Netflix producers already unhappy with her weak shows are now unsure if they want to keep working with her. Her new cooking show was quietly canceled. Even Oprah Winfrey, her loudest supporter in the media, has stayed silent during all this drama. People close to Oprah say they're rethinking working with Meghan again, not because they hate her, but to protect their own brand. When both Oprah and Netflix step back, it's not just a coincidence, it's a big red flag. What started as a fancy new version of Meghan is now falling apart in front of everyone. Her push to control her image has not just failed, it has shown us something darker and deeper. That being real can't be faked. And no matter how deep secrets are buried, they always come out. As her friends disappear and her stories fall apart, one big question remains. Who is Meghan Markle?